Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel. Well, it is lecture number 11 of ancient history and the date is 1st October 2025. First, I would like to say sorry to you guys because from last 20 days I had not uploaded any lecture here because I was really very busy. And I know how important these videos can be for you guys. So I'm really sorry for that. And here I can promise you one thing that from today, every day we are going to upload two videos, one in the morning session and second in the evening session, which is this video where we will take care of your static syllabus. So without any delay, let's have a look at what we have to study today. Where from we'll start, let's try to establish our discussion. You know, in our previous classes so far, what we had discussed. First of all, we looked into the sources of history. What are the sources of history? We started with the ancient history. I would like to give the brief recap where we reached so far. We started by looking at the sources of history. We divided history into various parts: prehistory, proto-history, and the history itself. And here in the prehistory, we started with the Paleolithic age, and we had established the time frame for this. Then we went to the Mesolithic age. After that, we went to the Neolithic, then to the Chalcolithic. In the Chalcolithic, we discussed the sites without Harappan civilization. In the Chalcolithic age, we divided the Chalcolithic age into two. First, those Chalcolithic sites which does not have the Harappan influence, the Indus Valley influence, and then the Chalcolithic with Indus Valley influence, or we can say Indus Valley civilization. After that, we went to the Vedic age. We discussed early Vedic age. Then we discussed the later Vedic age. Then after later Vedic age, we discussed Mahajanpadas. Then we discussed the initial the rise of Magad. We discussed rise of Magad. Here we discussed few kingdoms which are least important to you, but we had discussed them. Then after this, we discussed the Mauryans. What we discussed? Mauryans. So before the rise of Magad, then we discussed the religion, a rise of new religions, and during this phase only we discussed the Mauryans. And in our last class, we completed the Mauryan age, and then we diverted our discussion in a very different way. This was specific for North India. This was specific for North India. But for South India, what we did, Paleolithic age is similar, Neo Mesolithic age, Neolithic age, Chalcolithic IBC, around 500 BC, around this phase, we diverted our discussion into the megalithic age for the South India. Megalithic age, and here we reached till 300 BCE. Now, today, our discussion would revolve around 300 BCE, 300 BCE to 300 AD or CE, common era, to 300 BC to 300 CE, common era. And then after we will discuss the Sangam age, we will take up the post-Mauryan politics. Post-Mauryan post-Mauryan politics, so that we'll connect these two together and then we'll move in a very systematic way. So far, I guess everything is very much clear. We had discussed it all in very great detail. We had not left any gap which can be, we had not missed anything which can be asked in the exam. And also, as we discussed these topics here, I had told you, you might had studied from various coaching institutes, or you might had watched many YouTube videos regarding these topics, and you might feel that we had missed sometimes few important things which you might had heard. The reason for that is, first of all, these topics which we are doing, it is specific to history, prehistory, or ancient history. For the art and culture, we will take this separate discussion. So please don't worry if I had missed anything which you would have read. That will take care in the art and culture. And if I will not take care that in the art and culture, that means that that is least important for you guys. And this much what I am teaching you here is important for you. And if you are aware of this, if you had read everything, if you had memorized everything from this part, what I had taught you here, this should be enough for you to crack your prelims exam if any question would be asked from these topics. So today we are going to discuss this Sangam age. So with respect to Sangam age, before we'll start our discussion, here I would like to take the brief moment to give you the brief introduction about this initiative which we had started, so that if you are new to our channel, you will get more connected with us. Basically from 2nd June 2025, we started an initiative. We had a dream that we will start an initiative by the name Target IAS 2026. Under this initiative, I promised you that every day I will try to upload 2 videos. One in the morning session where we will take care of your current affairs, and that we do regularly. And unfortunately, as I told you from last few days, I can say from last month, in the month of September, I was not very much regular because of the workload I had at my home. So I'm really sorry for that. And in the evening session, here we will discuss the static syllabus. So this is our plan, and we are very much trying our best to deliver it every day. So in the static syllabus, I had told you I will try to complete your full syllabus before Jan 2000, or on January 2026, or we can say before Feb 2026. I will try to complete your full syllabus, so that whatever is required for you to clear the exam, that we will clear here. But the only exception in here is that we are not going to cover your optional subjects. That is very much clear to you guys if you would had watched my lectures before. And here in this regard, we started with Indian polity and governance. First we started with the Indian polity, which we had already completed in 30 lectures that you can see on my YouTube channel. Then we took up the governance. We completed it in 11 lectures, also again available on my YouTube channel. And here it is the 11th lecture of ancient history, and almost we are about to complete it. Only few lectures are left after this lecture. So this is the initiative. With this, I had also told you, here we can only give you the lectures, and trust me, how much capable a teacher can be, there is some error would always be there, that he may not give you everything what is required for you to clear the exam. So in this regard, what you can do, you should rely on the notes. You should rely on the notes. And what are the notes you should read from? I had told you in our first class you can go through various books, but it becomes sometimes very hectic. As an UPSC aspirant, I also was. I always wanted that there should be one complete book where I can find everything. I should not go to other books. So in this regard, what we are doing, we are preparing notes for you. Already Indian polity and governance book is available. If you want to get access to it, you can ask us for that. And currently we are working on the history, in which currently we are working on the ancient history, so that once you will read these books, it should be enough for you to clear the exam. It should contain everything what is required for you to clear the exam. So in this regard, if you want to get access to Indian polity and governance right now, you can mail us at salvation UPSC 136 at the rate gmail.com. You will be told to pay only 200 rupees per book, 200 rupees for this book, and this is the least amount which you can contribute to our initiative. So if you want to get access to it, please do subscribe the channel, do share it with your friends, so that they may also get benefited from this initiative. And please do write in the comments what else should we bring for you guys. This initiative is for you guys. Please do cooperate with us. Now, without any delay, let's start our discussion where what we have to discuss today. So here, first we have to discuss the Sangam age. What we have to discuss, Sangam age. This Sangam age, first we will try to understand, we will try to establish what is the time period for this Sangam age. It would be 300 BCE to 300 CE, common era. So in this, with respect to the Sangam age, you can go through various books, and there would be so much unnecessary data given to you, which UPSC does not even consider to ask you. But there are few important points which you have to note down, which you have to memorize, which can be asked in the exam, and we will focus on those important points only, and we will leave the rest. So here, what we will have to discuss, we will first try to understand what is the literature where from we get this Sangamage, what is the idea behind that, what does it talk about, or what are the political systems there, what is the economy, and finally we will try to discuss what is the social life. So these are the important points which we have to look into the Sangam age. Then our Sangam age is very much clear and sorted. So in this regard, let us start with the first part, the literary sources of the Sangam age. So let me rub it first for you guys so that you will get the idea. I will get the clear board and I can write here. First, why do we need to know this Sangam age? Because the history of this deep south, history of deep south is reconstructed, is reconstructed, is reconstructed on the basis of the Sangam texts, is reconstructed on the basis of Sangam text. What does the Sangam word mean? It means that the confluence. It means that the meeting point. We can say in the simpler terms, we can say it is the meeting point of the poets, of the writers, or we can say whatever you want to name them, or the historians. They met there in the, usually there are three Sangam ages which we have to, which we should know. We will discuss that later. It is in the simpler terms, we can say it is a meeting point of the poets, writers, where they wrote down and they constructed the history of that period. So where it was majorly done, it was where they met majorly in the Madurai in Tamil Nadu, currently in Tamil Nadu, Madurai in Tamil Nadu. And it is all in the old Tamil text, all in the old Tamil text. And this whole confluence or this whole meeting point, it was maintained by whom? It was maintained by the Pandya rulers at Madurai. The Pandya rulers at Madurai. This was maintained by the Pandya rulers at Madurai. And what is the theme of the Sangam literature? The theme is war. The theme of the Sangam literature is war between three dynasties, or we can say three kingdoms. Who are these three dynasties? It is Cholas, it is Cheras, and it is Pandyas. Cheras, and Pandyas. So it is the theme of the Sangam literature is war between these three dynasties. They were often in the war, and what was the reason for the war? There are various discussions for it. That it was basically about the temple, who would construct the temple for a goddess which they would worship. So that was the reason for this war. That is not the point which we have to discuss. That would be going into the optional level, and that is something where there is no, the historians are not on the same point, so we don't need to discuss that here. Now, if we look at the Sangam literature, it is not like the Vedic literature where you have the Rig Ved, Samved, Yajurved, and Atharva Veda, which is very much clear to you guys. It is very this Sangam literature. It is very huge, and if for your understanding, it has been divided into five sections. What it has been divided, the Sangam literature has been divided into five sections, which we need to know. And from here, the real test begins, because from here, mostly the UPSC will ask you the questions. And this data, today's class, it is mostly based on the factual thing. So you need to write down. You may get bored, but it is something you cannot miss. So let's see how it is divided. Let's see what does it say. Sangam literature is divided into five sections. First It is early works, just remember that. Early works. Second, it is eight anthologies. Eight anthologies. And these anthologies we should know, or we can say itutugai. Please forgive my pronunciation because I am from Jammu and Kashmir. My mother tongue is not even Hindi, so I can mispronounce these words, so forgive me, but just look at the spelling, which is mostly correct. Itutugai. And one thing about these, if the question would be asked, you just have to identify them. You don't even need to remember the spelling, just identify them. So what are these eight anthologies? So first one I would write here. Please do note it down. N Guru. This is how I pronounce it. Nuru. This is the first one. Then we have the Narayanai. Second one, it is Narayanai. Please forgive my pronunciation in it. Narayanai. It is double R, I guess. Yeah. Then something like this. It is Aganaru. Aga Noru. Aganaru. Then we have Purana Nuru. Fourth, Purana Nuru. Then we have fifth. It is Kali Tugai. Kali Tugai. Then we have sixth Pari Padal. Pari Padal. Then we have seventh Then we have seventh Padiro Patu. And eighth we have Karuntugai. Karuntugai. So these are the eight anthologies which you need to know. Just remember the initials of these words. Just look at these words every day. You can write it down, or you can take this screenshot of this slide. You can every day read it once, and it will once at some time it will remain in your mind, and you can easily find it out what it is talking about. So this is the early works. We are here sections of the Sangam literature we are discussing. First early works, then we have eight anthologies. Now we have 10 short stories which we need to note down. 10 third 10 short stories or idylls or pottu pottu or pottu pottu. So what are these? It is some complicated names which you have to note down. First, it is something Thiru, Thiru, Muru, Thirumuru, Garu, Garu, Padai, Thirumuru Garu Padai. It is the first word which I pronounce it like that. I don't know is it right pronunciation or not, but remember it. And we have Purun, Purun, Panaru, Purun Panaru Padai. This is the second. Third, it is Siru Panaru Padai. Panaru Padai. Siru Panaru Padai. Then we have Piram Panaru Padai. Fourth, Piram Panaru Padai. Then we have fifth, Mulai Patu. Mulai Patu. Then we have sixth, Nidunal Vadai. Nidun Nidunal Vadai. Then we have seventh, Mudurai Kanji. Mudurai Kanji. We have eighth, Kurunji Patu. Kurinji Patu. Kurinji Patu. Then we have ninth, Patina Palai. Patina Palai. Then we have 10th, Malay Padu Kadam. Malay Padu Kadam. These are the 10 short stories which you need to know. Please do take the screenshot of it. It can be very much important for your preparation. Then we have the 18 minor works, which I will not give what are those minor works because they are not going to ask you the question from it. Just remember. Fourth, 18 minor works, or we can say Padi Nin Kil Kanaku. Padinan Kil Kanaku. So this is the spelling: PADINEK KILKANAKKU. So this is the spelling for it. Then we have the last fifth. It talks about the five epics. The five epics. The five epics. What are these? The five great poems of Sangam literature. It refers to Jivaka Chintamani, Jivaka Chintamani, Second, Silla Paddikaram, Silla Paddikaram. Then third, Mani Mekalai, fourth, Vilayapathy, and fifth, Kundala Kesi. So please do remember all this. Ideally, you should know everything what I had wrote here. Ideally, you should remember, you should memorize everything what I had wrote here. Now, I know that it is not that easy. So what you should do? What you should do? take the screenshot of these slides, revise it regularly every day, and one day will come when it will remain in your mind. Or you can do one thing, whatever is asked most often in the exam, you can remember that part. So let me write it for you. Let me highlight the important things for you which you need to remember in anyhow, because the question is most accepted expected from these, from this slide which I am going to write down here. So here we'll divide our slide into three columns. This is column 1, this would be column 2, and here we'll write, sorry, I could not make it. It's column 1, column 2, and here I can write. What is this? Here I will write book, author, and significance. So this slide is very much important for you. First, remember this book, Toka PM. PM. Toka PM. Who wrote it? Author. Tulka PR is the author. What is the significance? It is the earliest text which deals with grammar. Earliest text which deals with grammar. So remember that. Then we have second, Madurai Kanji. Madurai Kanji. Madurai Kanji. Author is Manguti Morudam. Manguti Morudam. It describes Kaveri Patnam most important source on trade, source on trade, source on trade and commerce in the deep south, and commerce in deep south. Then we have third, Muru Guru Padai. Guru Padai. It is author is Nekirar, and it is a song in praise of Moruga. Song in praise of Moruga, most powerful god of deep south. Most powerful god of deep south. Then we have Patani Poli. Let me extend this thing here. Book, author, and significance. And what is the book? Patani Poli. Its author is Unru Rai Ariyar, Ariyar, and it deals with day-to-day rituals of Brahmins. Deals with day-to-day rituals of Brahmins. Brahmins. And we have Tirukural. Tirukural. It is also important. It is written by Thiruvala Valuvar, Thiruvaruvar, and it is the most important work, and it is full of proverbs, full of proverbs, and it is called the Bible of Sangam literature. Bible of Sangam literature. So these are some important books which you need to know. At least please do know these books. Take the screenshot of it, know who is the author and what it deals with. Now let's move to the epics which you need to memorize or which you need to know. Here, let me rub it first. This epic, it is author, and it is significance. First, we have to know Sillai Padai Karam, Sillai Padai Karam, or jewel anklet, anklet. It is written by Langu Adugal, Adugal, and it deals with the grandson of Raikala Chola, grandson of Raikala Chola, Kovalam, Kovalam, Kanaji Patni cult, Kanaji Patni cult, Kanaji Patani cult. Then we have the another epic which is Menin Megalai, Menin Megalai, Megalai. It is written by Satanar. Satanar is the author, and it deals with the villain prince, villain prince Udaya Kumara, Udaya Kumara, devotion of fine arts and Buddhism in Deep South, devotion of fine arts and Buddhism in Deep South. Then we have the third epic. Third epic is Sivaga Sandamani, Sindamani, Sivaga Sindamani. Its author is Tiruta 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 Kadevar Kadevar, and secret popularity of Jainism in the Deep South. Popularity of Jainism in the South. So these are the most important books and epics which you should know to crack the questions if asked with respect to this topic. Now let's move to the another part. First, we will try to understand the brief division of the Sangam literature. First we saw that how it is divided into five sections. Now, if we once we read the Sangam literature, we find out that mostly this Sangam literature we see there the Akam and Puram concept and Dinai concept. So this thing we have to understand what is this Akam and Puram concept and what is this Dinai concept in this Sangam literature. In the Sangam literature, we see three concepts. One is Akam and Puram. Akam concept. Second, Puram concept. And then we see the third unique concept, which is Tinai concept. Tinai concept. So what is this Akam concept? This Akam concept, it talks about the love poems. It is mostly related to love poems. This Puram concept, it talks about beyond anything more except love. It talks about except love, mostly war. It deals with the war, mostly deals with the wars and the battles. And what is this deny concept? It is a very unique way the history is connected to the geography. It shows the emotions of a poet, how he engages the geography with the how he engaged how he engaged his emotions to the geography. It shows this deny concept. It shows the uh, intelligence, or it shows the historical geography. It shows that how a poet has engaged the geography, his emotions with the geography, how the poet has engaged his emotions with geography. So this much you need to know. These are three important concepts what you should know. Now let's move to the political structure of the Sangam age. Let's move to the political structure. Let's try to figure it out, and then we move to the social and economic, and we will conclude it here. The political here, you should be very much aware of this thing. This is the peninsular India, and here we'll try to understand what were the three political systems, or till here we know that it was the Mauryan era. Mauryan. And here we have three different dynasties. Here we can say it was the Cheras, Cheras in present Kerala. Then we see here Pandyas, Pandyas, and here we see the Cholas, Cholas. So there were constant wars between these three, and these Pandyas, they were known for the pearls. Cholas, they were known for the textiles, and Cheras, Kerala Putras in the Mauryan era, they were known for the textiles and spices. Textiles and spices. So please note that down. And one thing important about these dynasties is that the Romans, they would often trade with them. They will set their embassies there. They would trade with these dynasties. They used to trade with all the three. Now, with respect to this, let us start with the Pandyas. Let's try to understand what are the important kings which we need to know in the Pandya dynasty. Let's try to understand it. In the Pandyas, it is first Pandyas. What is their emblem? It is fish. Emblem is fish. And it is first mentioned, the kingdom of Pandyas is mentioned by the Megasthenes Megasthenes, first mentioned by the Megasthenes. and its capital was at Madurai. Capital city at Madurai. On the banks of Vaigai River. So on the banks of Vaigai River, and who was the most important king in the Pandyas, which is often mentioned, is Nandunjilai. Nedunjilai. Nedun Jilia Jilai. And why he is often mentioned? Because he was the one who performed the Ashwamedha. Ashwamedha. So this much about Pandyas is enough for you, because these there is not so much data available with respect to them. So if you are aware of this much, then you should be able to crack any question with respect to it. Then we have the Cholas. These are the early Cholas. So its emblem is tiger. Emblem is tiger, and it had two capitals. The first capital at Urayur. First capital at Urayur, and the second capital at Kaveri Patnam. Kaveri Patnam, and they are famous for cotton. Which is Urayur is famous for cotton. Urayur is famous for cotton. And who is the important king? It is the king Elora was the first Indian to conquer Sri Lanka. King Elora is the first king to conquer Sri Lanka. So you have to note that down. This is the king Elora in the Cholas. And then we have the greatest king was Karaikala. Greatest king Karai Kala. Please do note down this also. Who founded Pohar and constructed a dam on the Kaveri river. Who this Karai Kala, he is the greatest king of the Cholas. He founded Pohar and constructed a dam on the Kaveri Kalanai Dam or Grand Ancient at Srirangam, at Grand Ancient Dam at Srirangam. So he was the first one to construct it. Then we have the Cheras. We have Cheras here. About Cheras, their emblem is bow. Emblem is bow. Please do note it down. And they ruled Malabar coast. Ruled Malabar coast. Present Kerala. Capital was 1G. Capital was 1G. Capital was 1G. Main ports of the Cheras are main ports are Muziris, 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 Karanganur, and Tondai. The Romans set up two regiments and also built a temple of Augustus at Muziris. So at Muziris, Romans built a tomb of Augustus. Augustus. And who is the important ruler? Udayan Geral. Udayan Geral. Udayan Geral. He is one of their early rural. Udayan Geral is said to have fed both armies of the Kurukshetra war. Udayan Geral is said to have fed both armies of Kurukshetra war. The greatest king was Sengutuvam or Red Chera. Greatest king, greatest king, Sen Gu, Tuam, Tuam or Red Chola, who founded the Patani cult. He has founded the Patani cult. He has founded the Patani cult related to worship of goddess of chastity, Kanagi. So this is about the Cheras and Pandyas. Now let's have a look at the administration in the Sangam age. What are the important facts we need to know with respect to administration? We'll note it down. The king in the administration, king was called Ku Manna Vendam Vendam Kurvam Kurvam or or Iravian. So these were the names given to king. What were the officials? Officials. It was Amai Amaichar Amai Amaichar. It is the minister. Then we have Prohita, Prohitar. It is Prohit. Then we have Dutar. It is envoys. Then we have Senapatiyar. It is Senapati. Then we have Auror, spies. Then at the what was the province called? Mandalam. Province, Mandalam, district, Nadu, town, Ur. And big village was called Perur. Big village, Perur. Small village was called Sirur. Sirur. And Patinam, Patinam, name of coastal town. Name of coastal town. Patinam, Pohar, Pohar, harbor areas, and Cherry, Chiri, suburban town. Suburban town. And how did the revenue administration look like? Revenue administration. We have in it we have Karai. It is land tax. Then we have Irai. It is tribute paid by feudatories and booty collected in war. Irai, tribute paid by feudatories and booty collected in war. Then we have Ulgu, custom tax. Then we have Iravu, Iravu, extra demand or forced tax. Then we have Warrior, tax collector. He was the tax collector. And how did the society? Let's move to the society now. Society, it was a flexible period. The question may come to your mind: did they know about the Varna system? Yes, they did know about the Varna system, because we see the same terms in here also. For example, Arashar, Arashar is for king. Then we have the Veshyar for Veshyas. Then we have the Velalor for farmers. Here we don't find the Shudras term for the Shudras. Then we have the Brahmans or directly Brahmins. But if we are going to understand society in this way, then we are doing very injustice with the Sangam age, because there we don't see, even though the Varna system was there, but the society was not divided like that. There we would see, it is better, because there we have the occupational division. The people were divided on the basis of their occupation, or we can say kuti, which is the better word for that. Kuti is the better word for that, and it is the better way to understand the society. In simpler terms, what does the kuti mean? It means the extended family groups, extended family groups which do certain kind of work. They do certain kind of work, and it is totally based on the occupation, and there was no such discrimination. They would dine with each other, they would intermarry, and everything was very much flexible. So this is the social structure there. Even though they have the idea about the Varna system, but it was not divided like it was divided in the Mauryan age. Then, what is the Sangam text? It talks about the warrior ethics. There are few terms which you need to know. For example, Vata Kirtal, Vata Kirtal. It is the ritualistic suicide by the losing king by starvation, by losing king, suicide by losing king by starvation. And then you would often see another term, Natukal. It is the memorial stone for warriors who lost in the war. Natukal, memorial stone of the warriors who lost in the war, who lost in the war. So with this, we had completed our Sangam age. Whatever is required for you to clear any question if asked in the exam, we had covered it here. You may see in various books there is some extra information given, or there would be some extra knowledge. It is, if you want to remember that, that is fine. I cannot push you for that, but one thing I can be very much sure about, one thing here, that if you are sorted with this and you can remember what we had discussed today, then there is none question which you can miss, that I can promise. So with this, we had completed our today's discussion. Yeah, one more thing I would like to mention here, that as we discussed the Sangam age, we have in the history three Sangams. First Sangam was at Madurai, second Sangam was at Kapadapuram, and the third Sangam was again at the Madurai. With this, we are going to complete our today's discussion. Thank you for staying with me. Thank you very much, and have a nice day, and best of luck.